Hello and welcome to Road to Innsmouth. Join us as we take you on a journey into the world of the strange, creepy and unexplained. We're your hosts, I'm Matt.
And I'm Gareth.
And this is part 2 of our UK Wildman podcast.
But with the Bigfoot in America, they think there's stories of it moving as well. It emigrates as such from the warm to the warmer weathers.
Yeah.
So if you can travel long distance, you're saying, most of these sightings are at night. They're not during the day, so the thing only moves at night. So there is less people out.
Yeah, I mean a couple. Yeah, I just don't know, mate.
But to be fair, if there was breeding pairs around, you're going to see none of the stories I've like at least with Bigfoots in America, people say they've seen them with young Bigfoots.
Yeah.
They've seen families of Bigfoots. Whether they are true or not, people will claim to see them. There's never been a claim like that in the UK, as far as I know. There's always been a single entity on its own.
That one report saw a pair, but that's literally all it said. But then it was in the middle of a town, which I find a bit weird.
Yeah, squatting. It's probably just two people dressed up in a costume.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just not sure. I mean, there's
There's a lot of the reports, like you said, even in America, they do tie in with UFO sightings and other strange phenomena.
Yeah, and a lot of people think it tends to be more metaphysical in nature, like whether it's a projection or, potentially a time slip, which other people experienced of like going back a few decades, but potentially if you went back a few 100,000 years and saw into the past, and then you got things like UFO. This always seems like weird. It never seems to just be a sighting. It's always in a place that has other phenomena that's associated with it.
Yeah.
Which is always a bit weird. Either strange lights in the sky or other weird creatures or ghost sightings. I'm not sure if that's just once people see one weird thing, they tend to link lots of things to it or not.
Yeah, I don't sure. There's this theory that, all these things is the same thing, so maybe it can just change its appearance to what you want to see.
Yeah, and maybe it doesn't have a control over what you see.
Yeah.
Maybe you see, like, how you're wired dictates what you see, but you're still seeing something. It doesn't, but no one necessarily has to be seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'd like to go to some of these places. It's one of the things that is quite common around here, which is quite nice, quite local to us.
Yeah, there's been a few sightings in Sussex. I think I read something like Sussex.
Yeah, I mean, like Tunbridge Wells, you've got Friston Forest, and you've got a little bit
There's a
further
few parts
west.
right then.
Yeah.
If you look on Debbie Hartwell, was it? Debbie?
Yeah.
On a interactive map. Obviously, she believes that they're here.
Yes. Yeah.
He's like dedicated years of research into it. And, so there's like something like 2,000 members online who help.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, there is a big belief that there is an actual real creature living here.
Yeah. No. Yeah. A lot of people do believe. I mean, there's a lot of people seeing something, and I don't like this just discounting people.
But how easy it is when we were in the woods. How I was only a few meters in front of you, and if the trees are dense enough, you couldn't see me. I couldn't see you. True. It doesn't take a lot to hide if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, that is true. It doesn't.
And they're pretty much walking around in their own ghillie suit if they're covered in fur.
Yeah.
It's just what are they eating?
Yeah, what they eat, and there's never ever a big enough breeding population. You think, much like we said with like some of the big cat sightings, there's no bodies ever turned up.
No one's hit one in a car while driving through the downs.
No.
There's been plenty of sightings around here.
Which always makes you think it may be not entirely physical.
And also, in America, there's like ABC sightings as well, isn't it? So people, was it the same as Bigfoot? Is it just... Or are they something to do with? Are they something together? Because they seem to be in the same areas.
Yeah. And there's I think the chalk pit howls, and the hairy face at the window was in hassocks. Yeah, there's quite a lot around here.
Yeah, so if you're thinking it's one or two in an area, there could be like big cats. I suppose that cover like 100-mile areas.
Yeah, it's just like if it was a biological entity, how long would they have to leave, and how small a breeding population would you need to be able to have sightings over decades and decades?
Oh yeah, well I don't because while decades they're on script, they're in the 1800s or before when they were referred to as Wildman. They were seen.
Yeah, and woodrows. Yeah.
What?
Woodrows as well. I think they're called back in medieval times.
But they were seen to be sort of grab women and disappear with them, and in America, some of the disappearance of women in America they put down to Bigfoot taking them but taking them for what?
Yeah. What? What are they doing?
Yeah, there's like some stretch of road in America that's supposed to be people disappear all the time on it, whether it's due to serial killers but it's also runs through Bigfoot country.
Yeah, that's something. It's so hard to differentiate between.
But they said the Wildman grabbed women off the street, and there's like what do you call it? Tapestry with wild men sewn into it.
Yeah.
But they saw, when knights saw them while they were sort of going through the countryside and were attacked by them. So if these wild men just carried on existing.
Yeah.
The 8-foot red eye thing makes you think it's demonic, or it's not. It's not solid. It's not a living
being.
Glowing red eyes aren't something you see on the creature.
Yeah, I mean, you're never quite sure if it is though, or if it's just something that's so dark you see eyes where you think eyes should be.
Well, yeah, there is that. Yeah, because we're built to face recognise, aren't we? The first thing you see, drawn to where a face should be.
That's why there's like so many misidentifications. Like when roots fall over and you think you've seen something, you can make a shape of like a person out of the shadows of roots falling over. Because that's what your brain's like should be seeing. Yeah,
we're hardwired. So if something stood 8 foot tall in front of you, immediately place you're going to look for their faces. You're going to have to look for eyes, nose, mouth.
Yeah. So there's that, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I think there's so many sightings. The sightings are the same thing. It's not like it's different. People aren't seeing anything different. Everyone says it's 7 to 8 foot. It's hairy.
Yeah, no, that the consistency is an interesting.
It sounds all the same.
Yeah.
I know it's been around there's been reports of Bigfoot for years and years, so everyone knows what it is. So you could argue that, like, there is some cases in America where they're slightly different. Yeah,
they've got like paler brown fur and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the colour, but then our hair colour is different, isn't it, throughout all of us? So, but the 8 foot thing, 7 to 8 foot, like some Bigfoot in America can be 9 to 10 foot sometimes. So
yeah,
the red eye thing I've heard a few times.
But it's always quite hard to estimate height. You see it when you look at some of the big cat sightings and people are filming it, and then actually when you look at it, it's all on the assumption that because they never go to the place, they're filming it from afar, and then they're assuming how far they are away from that place, and then inferring the height based on their assumption that they've got their distance correct.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be that far out for something to not actually be as big as you think it is, because it's actually further away or nearer, so that's always quite hard to estimate. Which would be nice when, if you saw something in an urban setting, it's much easier if you've got a house to balance it on. Like
if you're looking across water or through woods or...
Yeah, trees are really hard to judge heights on.
Yeah, unless you can sort of go back there and sort of stand in place. And
it's normally quite hard because they're normally shocked. They've normally walked away and then walk back and try and think, is that the exact tree I saw it at? Because a lot of trees look very similar. But it's definitely an interesting thing to research that I think we should look into. So
yeah, whether it's an actual beating living creature that is the missing link that's still around or something else, it's a hard one. Because if it's not real here, if it's what you're saying it's not real, then it can't be real in America either, because people are saying the same thing.
No, that's true.
So you can't be real in one country, and then we're just saying what we're seeing is, it's got to be the same. And there's no evidence over there they're real. There's some government papers that's been redacted and could be. I read a story once that someone claimed to have hit a Bigfoot in America and it was buried somewhere in California. I can't find the story. I was looking for it for this.
Oh yeah, there's that big story about the guy who said he shot one, wasn't there? And he was going to bring the body in so everyone could examine it. But
it never happened. Something happened.
It never happened. It's like Reddit posts, man. When someone says, I found this like secret safe in my house, watch me open it, and they never deliver when they say they've got some evidence.
Yeah, I thought there was one, he hit it in his car, so he buried it out in the wood, but he wasn't going to bring it in or what happened, but I think the guy has disappeared as well.
That's interesting. I'll have to have a look at that.
But I couldn't find it. Because, when you read stories and you're like, just sort of dismiss it, but then you can never find it again, type in everything.
Yeah, I can never remember the original thing I was searching for.
You just come across it by mistake.
Yeah.
I think the problem is if you're looking for stories in America, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sightings.
Yeah.
Trying to find one that you read a few years ago. Since then, there's probably been 100 other sightings. And with the TV shows that have come out in the last sort of decade, there's even more. It's hard. It's strange that, these things aren't. Bigfoot, if you've got Bigfoot, the ABCs, werewolves, Dogman, Dogface Man, whatever.
Yeah, I think some of the canals in the Midlands, there was something about giant rats, like insanely giant rats or something. That's like a local legend up there. I'll have to have a look for that, actually. That was quite fun.
There is I've seen pictures of giant rats that have been caught.
Just having a quick look, see if there was... Because always, I suppose there's always a chance that a couple of them were sparked off by an escaped like ape from a zoo.
Well, wasn't that didn't Redfern or whatever his name is? Redman?
Nick Redfern, yeah.
His book, Monkey Man.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't read that actually.
No, that was his looking into it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That was in Birmingham or something. That had something to do with canals and escaped. Actually, hold on. I'll tell you what it is about. Redfern, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, it's salting in. Saying what his book might be about. Yeah.
There's also a sighting in the New Forest called the New Forest Gorilla. That's quite cool.
Oh, right. So there is sightings in the New Forest. Okay. Man monkey in search of the British Bigfoot. There it is. So this is the description of his book. It is in 1883. Shropshire folklore. Charlotte S. Byrne wrote a very weird story of an encounter with an animal ghost rose of late years within my knowledge. On the 21st of January 1879, a labouring man was employed to take a cart of luggage from Ranton to Staffordshire to Woodcote, beyond Newport to Shropshire, with the ease of a party of visitors who were going from one house to another. He was late in coming back, his horse was tired, and he could only crawl along the footpace. So that it was 10 o'clock at night when he arrived at the place where the high road crosses the Birmingham and Liverpool canals. Just before he reached the canal bridge, a strange black creature with great white eyes sprang out of the plantation by the roadside and alighted on his horseback. He tried to push it off with his whip, but to his horror the whip went through the thing and it dropped on the ground. In fright, the creature duly became known to superstitious and frightened locals as the man monkey. Between 1986 and early 2001, Nick Redfern delves deeply into the mystery of the strange creature of the dark stretch canal. All about ghosts. What was the search of the British Bigfoot?
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
he says he doesn't believe it's a real creature anyway, does he? Bigfoot over here.
No.
So maybe it's the same thing. It's not a ghost, but it's not an entity as such.
Yeah, I mean, so you get like little spate when you look at the map. There's like little spates all in a cluster somewhere, isn't there? And then miles.
Yeah, like all of ours are all on. You could argue are all on the South Downs, which is quite. There is a lot of woodland and a lot of sparse places where you could not be seen.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
There is woodland there, like you said, Ashdown Forest. From Tunbridge Wells to us, you've got Ashdown Forest in between.
Yeah.
If something's 8 foot tall, these things can move quite fast as far as what I've read.
Well, I suppose just by the pure height of them, if they're like an actual being, yeah, I suppose just their leg span would be big enough to move them quite fast.
Yeah, I think, in an evening of me, we walk an average of 3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we could, if you only moved at night, we couldn't cover that much distance. These things, if they're walking twice as fast, or people say they blink, they watch them bound across campsites, like 3 steps, no human could do. But then you look at the spacing sometimes of footprints, they don't seem that far spread. So I don't know.
There's just nothing like there's almost so few photographs, and the ones that exist are just so easy to dismiss if you're that way inclined as well.
Yeah.
You think in this day and age you could be able to take a decent picture with a camera, but
but then if it's not a living thing,
no, exactly. That's the other thing. If it's not that, then
messes with the electric,
Yeah, or what is the camera actually even seeing? Yeah.
There was a story of, because you're saying that there's no stories of anything ever getting hit by cars, but then you hear the odd one, but then there's no evidence of it.
Yeah.
I shot one, I hit one. There was a story once of a fire in America. And when they were clearing it up, they were obviously rescuing animals and stuff like that. And there was a story of, they said they came across a badly burnt Bigfoot, and then some people turned up and took it away, and that was the end of it. It never came out.
No.
Whatever that was, it must have been in California, because the big forest fires they have.
Let's have a quick look.
It was like 45% burns, they said, in the description. The guy said covering this ape-like creature.
I've got one here. Battle Mountain, Nevada, 1999. A science teacher says a badly injured Bigfoot was taken away and hidden by authorities.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm sure the guy who reported it, well, I'll tell you that's the one. There might have been other ones, but the guy who reported it worked for he worked for the fire department, but he wasn't a fireman. He was like one of the crew that goes in and bulldozes areas to stop the fire spreading.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if that's the one that reported it.
There's quite a big description here, actually. That's quite interesting. I hadn't heard of that. Yeah, that was a while ago now, but...
Yeah, well, they should be other ones. I'm sure if you delve deeper into it, you'll probably find other stories.
Oh, yeah, almost certainly. Almost certainly.
There'll be people out there who've got probably file of all different sightings. You look at that map that Debbie did over here. Is it Hartwell? Debbie Hartwell?
Hatswell.
Hatswell. Yeah, the amount of sightings she's done.
Yeah, the report's fantastic.
I did message her and ask her if she actually had a recording of one in the woods, Crystal Forest. Yeah, but she said no. It was only a report that was sent in. There was no actual copy of the recorded. It's just someone heard it and reported it.
No, but I think we'll definitely have to go for that though. I think that'd be really interesting to do a couple of days there.
Yeah, there was another sound a bit further down, the other side of Brighton. From the South Downs, but someone else heard something. And you've got some creature they called the Leaf Man a bit further down.
Yeah, Leaf Man of Sussex.
Yeah, which I don't know if that's just someone, could still be Bigfoot just covered in vegetation or something, or an old myth.
Where's it? Let me quickly read it. Yeah, look, that sounds much more like a traditional wild man. Like tall, spindly figure, covered in hair, matted with leaves in it, and gave off a horrid stench.
Yeah, that's a big thing, the smell. Always brought smells, don't they?
Yeah.
But I suppose they're living in the wild. The only thing with Friston Forest that I like is that you've got the river there that runs through, so there is a water source.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, that is true. It's one of the big things you would need.
Yeah, and you can get to the water from Friston. Friston Forest pretty much goes right up to the edge of it.
Yeah, and there's another Leaf Man report which is really similar, but from Kent.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I would argue that this is the same thing. That it's not too small an area when one thing could be living in the whole, or two things.
Yeah, maybe.
Between here and Kent, you've got Tunbridge Wells, you've got woodland. Go out towards Burwash, it's pretty wooded. There's Veal Water. There's
a lot of smaller woodlands around.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I'm not convinced, but it's definitely something I'd like to investigate.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like to say it's a living creature that's 8 foot tall living in our woodland, but kind of my heart kind of wants it to be true.
I know, right?
Like Bigfoot, read about him when from a teenager.
Yeah,
it's a mythical creature in America, and then suddenly there's one in the UK. Well, when you look into it more, they're all around the world, really.
Yeah.
Want to get that Gimli photo.
Oh yeah. There's still that still rolls on and on and on, that doesn't it?
Yeah, how oil burn it. But yeah, they'd be debating that photograph for years to come yet.
Oh, forever, unless there's definitive one way or another, I guess.
You know what we need to do is actually, I don't know how you do it, but when you can, get from the police reports.
You do freedom of information.
Yeah, but I don't know how far back that goes, because obviously there's probably been stories printed in our local papers along the south coast.
With that, you're probably better going to the libraries. They'll stock old papers for going back decades.
Yeah, because if you look in that, if I Google search like Herald sightings of big cats that have been in the papers, now they tend to be deleted.
Yeah, but the libraries probably keep it, and they've got it on microfilm.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do that though, do they?
They do. I've done it a few years ago, and they did, but I don't know. They might have digitised it all now, so I think it is the microfiche, but they've scanned it all, so you still have access to it.
Do you just search by keywords?
When the libraries reopen, it's worth us just popping up and finding out, I guess.
Right, presumably we wrote to the police and asked for a report.
Yeah, you just need to be relatively specific about either time period, like all the reports in this area of these things. But you could do it, because that's how people get other reports and stuff. So
yeah, report, because there must be reports to the police that have just never been published.
Yeah, people have done freedom of information for UFO sightings.
Yeah, they've always get sent.
I mean, they legally have to supply you the information as long as it's not some sort of protected.
Yeah, but if we're just asking for Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah, or like Wildman sighting. Yeah, there's no reason we don't try that.
Because there must have been phone calls and reports made that have never made it into papers, or
yeah, I would have thought so.
Or just strange sightings. But if you just say strange sightings, you
have to be a bit more specific than that. Yeah, because we can get
wording it right, isn't it? Or maybe someone's already done this. Maybe someone's already done it, and they're sitting on the files.
But I suppose it depends what area they've done it in. They may not have done it in Sussex.
No, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah, because most people wouldn't phone up that's what I mean. So it might be good for us to do it locally for here, because they might have done it in their area. But you wouldn't necessarily phone up every police department in the country. And freedom of information.
Well, I think it's just a form you fill out online, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think they can charge you admin as well. It just has to be in writing.
The hard part, I want dates. Some of these stories that you read, you don't have exact dates.
No, it's really hard. There's no point
investing. The exact dates.
Saying that it was seen 90 years ago. You're like, that doesn't really help me.
Yeah, but you could look for 90 years ago for other things that's happened on those dates.
Yeah.
When I'm Friston Forest, on the day someone sees something, was there strange lights in the sky or anything like that? Someone told me a story once that Buttsbrow, which is sort of near Friston Forest. Well, it's probably a 2-mile walk from Friston Forest, but it's a car park you can park up on top of the hill. Someone told me a story that they heard from someone else, that there was a group of people up there, like more than one car up there for whatever reason. I've been up there to watch meteor showers before. A good spot because you're quite high up, so it's quite dark. But they said that something came over the top of above them, and they said it just looked like you're looking at the sky, and then suddenly something was moving, but you couldn't see what it was. It was kind of like it looked see-through, but there was something there.
That's crazy.
So yeah, apparently everyone freaked out, jumped in, like everyone saw it. It wasn't just like one person up there. There was apparently numerous people up there, but not together. When this thing went over, everyone just jumped in their cars and drove out. Something like that surely would have been reported.
Yeah, you'd think so. There must have been some reports somewhere else than that, yeah.
There is like a UFO reporting site, isn't there?
Probably. Yeah, there's definitely quite a few in America, I think, but I don't know which ones are over here.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose anyone listening there must be people who, hopefully will listen to this who might know.
Yeah, let's find out. And I suppose it's a good time now. If anyone has any stories they'd like to share, please visit us on our Facebook page, which is Road to Innsmouth, our Instagram, which is also Road to Innsmouth, our Twitter, which is it R Innsmouth?
Yeah, I think it is R Innsmouth, isn't it? Sounds weird.
R Innsmouth.
Yeah.
Or
no one follows us on that anyway, so.
Well, they might start. You never know. Or you can email us directly on innsmouthinfo@yahoo.com.
Yeah. But the rest of them, you should be able to Google and find her.
Yep. I always put the links in the podcast and on our YouTube channel, which is also Road to Innsmouth as well. So follow us on there, drop us a like, and let us know if there's anything you'd like us to talk about. We're trying to release every week, so hopefully every Sunday we'll have a new podcast episode out. I think we're out on nearly every kind of podcast download you can do now. I think we're on all the major ones, and also on our YouTube channel.
Obviously, only some of them I think you can rate though.
Oh yes, yeah.
Not all the sites allow you to rate the podcast. I think iTunes you can rate us. You can listen to it and give 5 stars. Anything below 5 stars is not perfect. Just send us a comment instead and tell us how to improve. We want and improve by how people let us know. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'll do
should say thank you to that Fraser Collier off Facebook who said we could use his story.
Yeah, thank you for using his story. It's really nice into the Kent Wildman sightings. That was brilliant. Thank you very much. I guess we will see you again next week for another episode.